Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of FTB Beyond. I've been doing a little bit of work between episodes, working on our quest to automate the production of cake, and I'm really close to having it done. So we're automating the production of sugar, the production of yellow dye from sunflowers, the production of raw tofu eggs, and also the only thing left that we actually need to automate is the production of cake itself. Now, you're probably wondering, some of you have been wondering, why in the world do you want to automate cake? Well, hold on just a little bit longer because you'll find out by the end of this episode. But first, we need to automate the production of cake itself. Now, I'm using these crafters from RF Tools, and they work pretty well, but they won't work to automate the production of cake because the recipe that we want is essentially, I don't know if I can show this. Maybe not. Either way, the recipe for cake that I actually want to use is milk bucket, milk bucket, milk bucket, sugar, tofu egg, sugar, wheat, wheat, wheat. And that will make us cake, okay? Now, the problem is, refined storage is, or maybe it has this capability, but I just haven't figured out how to do it. We've got all this milk all stored up right here. We've got 20,000 buckets of milk. Now, refined storage is not smart enough to export this milk from this drum to one of these crafters. Maybe it's a problem with the crafter itself. Maybe it's an issue with refined storage. Maybe that's just not a capability that it has. I don't know. But what refined storage does have the capability to do is recognize that fluid that's in our system. If we look at our fluid grid right here, we see all the milk. It does have the capability to recognize this milk as a bucket and use it in refined storage crafters. So I've got a refined storage crafter right here. I've got the recipe for one cake. And if I come in here and say, craft me 10 cakes, you can see it's smart enough to realize, hey, I can use that milk, and there you go. Now, I need to have buckets in my refined storage system for that to work, but it does work, which is great. As I said, though, we're going to have to use a refined storage crafter for that. Now, one thing that I don't want to do is just infinitely craft cakes forever. I want to cap it at a certain number of cakes in my refined storage system. I'm thinking like 64 cakes is probably a good amount, something like that. And what we'll probably do here is use one of these guys back here. This is a detector, and it's pretty cool. What you do is you hook it up to, you specify one item in your system, and then you can say when there are more or less or equal to this number, you can tell it to emit a redstone signal. So right now I have this one saying, hey, if there are more than 1,000 sugar in my system, emit a redstone signal into this exporter, which is basically going to turn this off so it will stop exporting sugarcane, because otherwise I'll just go through all of my sugarcane forever, and I don't really need more than 1,000 sugar in my system at any given time. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out how to make this work. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a crafter right here. Do I have one already made? I do. Good. So let's put you down right there, okay? And then we're going to take this cake and throw you in here. Then what I want to do is trigger auto crafting with redstone signal, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say, hey, if there's a redstone signal coming into this crafter, craft the thing, and it should craft cake for us. Okay. Now we need to grab. Actually, I don't need to grab a cobblestone, do I? But I do need to grab refined one of these guys, a detector. And looks like I need to make, let's just make a couple of these, actually. They're probably good to have lying around. There we go. Okay, so we got 5 detectors. We're going to put one right here. I'm going to grab one of these redstone alloy wires. I could do this with regular redstone, but I want to make sure that this redstone signal only goes from here to here and doesn't go anywhere else. So that is why I'm using the wire. I just find it a little bit easier. We're going to say strong signal and strong signal. Okay. Then we're going to grab one of our cakes. Do we not have cake in our system? I had cake in my system. There we go. Huh. Wonder why it didn't show up in my wireless crafting grid. That's weird. Whatever. We're going to put a cake in here. We're going to say 64. Okay? And we're going to say emit a signal when under amount. So unless there are 64 cakes in here, it's going to basically give this a redstone signal and tell this thing to craft cakes. So if I look in here, we should see the number of cakes increasing? No. No, we're not. Okay. Why? Work with redstone signal. Trigger auto crafting with redstone signal. Oh, you know what the problem is? The problem is that the detector is not hooked up to the system. That would do it. Cable. So we're gonna go here and here. And now if I look at cake, you can see this is gonna go up until it hits 64, at which time it should stop. So that is crafting cake for us. Not super difficult to automate. Kind of a cool thing. Pretty cool. I actually really like certain the auto crafting system in Refined Storage. I actually quite like. There's some pretty cool stuff here. So now we get to start getting into the whole reason that we have been doing that. And that, my friends, some of you properly guessed it, Botania. Botania is a really cool mod and a very powerful mod, but also a mod that can be frustrating at times. One of the ways which Botania can be frustrating, if you're not familiar with it, is in mana generation. Sometimes it can be very frustrating to generate a lot of mana, and it can be a challenge. But one of the best ways to generate mana is with the Kekimuris flower, which will basically consume cake and generate a whole bunch of mana. However, there are some things that we have to do to get up to that point. Quite a lot of things we have to do to get up to that point. In fact, we actually need to get up farther into Botania than I have ever been before, because we need this pixie dust, unless there's some other way to get it, and I don't believe that there is. I don't think you can find pixie dust in dungeon chests or anything like that. We'll double check, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. So, Botania, let's start getting into it. We're going to start with the basics today, and hopefully we'll be able to... No, go away. I actually don't need my wrench right this second. Let's just put it away altogether. So, Botania, let's start getting into some things here. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And then if we grab some logs and put those down like so, surrounding the mystical white flowers, and then we do the same with some smooth stone? Smooth stone? Where you be? I thought I had done a whole bunch of it. Am I blind? Stone? Do I really not have any regular stone? No way. There's no way I went through all of my regular stone. Yeah, I've got 10,000 of it right here. What? Is this not, like, working properly, or... I feel I'm not blind. Okay, so something must be messed up here with this drawer. So what I might need to do is just take out the drawer controller and put it back. And now let's see. Is our stone there now? No. Still not recognizing the thing. Okay. Let's replace the external storage unit. Sometimes you have to do this sort of thing. There we go. Now do you recognize all my stone? No, it's still not. What? Why is that not being recognized? I don't understand. We've got 10,000 stone in there. For some reason, it doesn't realize that it's in there. That's weird. Maybe I need to, like, resync my thing or something. I don't know, whatever. I've got my stone right here that I need for the time being. So let's just surround this like that. There we go. And then we can get our living wood, which is what those logs will turn into, and we're going to use this for a whole bunch of different stuff in the Botania mod. Now, I do want to apologize. If you are super familiar with Botania, if this is all old news to you, I'm sorry. I will say that probably the vast majority of this episode is not going to be that interesting to you because I want to cover the early game of Botania for people who haven't seen it before. So, if this is all, like, completely not something you're interested in, I will totally forgive you for leaving and coming back next episode. Because basically what I want to cover today is just the early game stuff. Excuse me. I had a little tickle in my throat. I want to cover the early game stuff, how to generate basic mana, how to get a mana spreader up and running, all that kind of real simple stuff. So today we're going to cover the basics of Botania, and then after that we'll start getting into the more advanced stuff. Okay, so we've got this living wood here, and this can be used to make a mana pool, which is super useful. I'm also going to grab a flower pouch. Let's use the red, actually just kidding. Let's use the orange flowers because we have more of them than anything else. There we go. And if we go like so, if I remember correctly, I think the recipe's like that. There we go, recipe's like that. I knew it was something along those lines. We can make a mana spreader. And then we also need to make a wand of the forest. And the color of the wand of the forest will actually change depending on what petals you use. I'm just going to use these ones because I really don't care about the color all that much. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we'll put down a mana pool right here. And then let's make a bit more living wood as well. Like so. All right. And the mana pool is basically used to store mana. For those of you who aren't familiar with Botania, mana is essentially the energy of Botania. It's like mana is to Botania as RF power is to thermal expansion or Ender IO, if that makes sense. So it's a very useful thing, and it's a very important thing because you use mana to do just about everything in this mod. So yeah, just kind of bear that in mind. Okay, now right here, I want to get some water. Get an infinite water source for our petal apothecary. The petal apothecary we are of course going to use to make flowers, and flowers are what Botania is all about. Magical flowers that do magical and important things. So, the first flower that I want to make is called an endoflame. And an endoflame is pretty simple to make. Brown, red, light gray. Okay, super easy. Let's grab brown, red, and light gray. What were the ratios? 2 brown, 1 light gray, 1 red. So let's make 4 of these guys for the moment. I don't have a whole lot of brown. I suppose I could get more fairly easily, but for now, let's just start right here. So we're going to go 2 brown, Q to throw them in, 1 light brown, and 1 red. And then we throw a seed in there, and there we go. We have ourselves an endo flame. And then all we need to do, I have no open space in my inventory. There we go. Then all we need to do is essentially refill this thing until we've made 4 of, JK. There we go. And there we go. We've got ourselves our 4 endo flames. And endo flames are used as a very simple mana generation flower. Very, very simple. This is like your basic flower. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just put those guys down. We'll put a mana spreader right here. We'll take our wand to the forest, shift right click to make sure it's in bind mode, and then shift right click on the mana spreader, shift right click on the mana pool, and ta-da, the mana spreader is now pointing at the mana pool. So now we want to give these things a fuel source of some sort. I'm just going to use coal blocks for the moment. Also, I really need to take my electromagnet and turn it off. Otherwise, it's going to mess everything up. But let's throw 4 coal blocks at these endo flames. No? Okay. Shift right click the endo flames to bind them to the mana spreader. I thought I... Oh no! Wrong button! Ah! You to you. No. Let's just... There. Yep. And you there. Yep. Sometimes it's a little finicky. Sometimes you gotta mess around with a little bit. Okay. There we go. Now we should be good. Those coal blocks should disappear. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we had to bind the endo flames to the mana spreader, bind the mana spreader to the mana pool. They're now generating mana for us. Okay, so that is kind of the basic process. Now, the endo flame does not generate mana very quickly at all. In fact, it's pretty slow. It's actually quite slow. So we're going to want to upgrade that very, very soon. But before we can upgrade it, we need a little bit of mana to work with. Also, if I have any black lotuses, like these guys from Botania, I can generate a little bit of mana by tossing those in here. Like so. It doesn't generate a lot, but it generates just a tiny bit, and they're going to do me more good being thrown in than just sitting in my inventory. So, next thing we need to do is start working our way up towards better flowers. So, if we look at Botania, there we go. I want to make this guy, the runic altar. And the easiest way to make that is using living stone and a mana pearl, which is essentially just an ender pearl that you've tossed into the mana pool. It uses a little bit of mana, turns it into a mana pool, a mana pearl instead. Then we take some of the living rock and we do that, and bada bing bada boom, we have ourselves a runic altar. So pretty straightforward. Now, I want to make another mana spreader. Gold ingot. There we go. Ooh, actually, petal in the middle. There we go. Another mana spreader. And what this mana spreader is going to do is it's going to take mana from this mana pool, and it's going to send it to the runic altar. So basically, we're generating our mana here. We're sending it to the mana pool. And then this mana spreader is going to take it from the mana pool and send it to the runic altar so we can make cool stuff with it, because it's used for a whole bunch of different things. You can see there's all sorts of different runes and things like that to craft involving the runic altar. But most of them do require a fair amount of mana to function, and we really don't have... Well, actually, we've got a little bit more mana generated than I thought we did, but still, gonna have some major stuff to do. I should probably also look. Do we have the Lexica Botania yet? We do not. So let's actually make one of those. The Lexica Botania is the guidebook for Botania, and it is, to be honest, one of the best written guides in modded Minecraft. Like, it is fantastically well done, and it will tell you pretty much everything you could want to know about this mod. Vazkey has done a fantastic job, Vazkey being the author of Botania, fantastic job of making a very understandable and useful guidebook. Odds are, if you have a question, the answer is probably somewhere in here. So let me figure out what I want to do as far as better mana generation goes, and then I'll come back to you. Alright guys, I am back. I think I have decided what I want to do. So let's make a couple mana steel ingots, and I think I want to make some thermal lilies. And these are basically flowers that generate mana using lava. Not super difficult or anything like that. I think it'll work out really well. And then we also need couple of those. What else do I need for this? Anything? Well, actually, that'll generate 2. Yeah, we're good there. And we're good here. Okay, so let's get all the stuff together for this. We're going to need rune for each thermal lily, and I want 4 thermal lilies. We're going to need a rune of fire and a rune of earth. So that's going to be a little bit, well, not hard to make, but it's going to take a little bit of doing. Let's get... Ooh, I'm actually super low on nether wart. Didn't even realize that. Okay, that's fine. So, rune of fire. I need gunpowder and nether brick. So, gunpowder, nether brick. I know for the other one, I need blocks of coal. I need brown mushroom. And I need stone, which is probably still not in my system because... I don't know why. I don't know why the stone is not showing up properly in my wireless crafting grid, which I just realized is spelled wrong. It's the wireless crafting grid or something. I don't know. Either way, these are done generating. So let's get those going again because we are going to need the mana. And now we can make our first rune. So let's start with the rune of fire. The rune of fire was nether wart, gunpowder, nether brick, mana steel, mana powder. So we just right click, and you can see it kind of goes around like that. Mana powder, gunpowder, and a mana steel ingot. And now it says, hey, this is how you make it. So then we just, then you can see it's got like a little wheel or thing, like a little pie chart that's slowly filling up. And when that is full, that means that the rune is going to be ready. And that's going to drain mana from our mana pool. So we will also need ourselves some living rock. And when this is ready, I need to throw that on top. And then we'll have to right-click it with the Wand of the Forest so that this thing will work properly. Let's see... Almost done. Very, very close. I'm going to do this 4 times. I'm going to do this twice for each rune. And there we go. Right click. And bam, we now have 2 runes of fire. So, let me make 2 more runes of fire and 4 runes of earth, and then I'll be back with you. Alright guys, I am back, and I've got myself my 4 thermal lilies. You make them in the Petal Apothecary once you have all the correct ingredients. So now, what I want to do is, let's say right here, we're going to put down 4 thermal lilies like so. And then I'm going to grab... basically any type of slab should work. Let's use these right here. Those will do. We'll go like so. We then need to bind these thermal lilies to this mana spreader, like so. And then what I need to do is I need to fill up this central area right here with lava because that's what they use to generate mana. So let me grab 3 more buckets like so. Let's swing over here to where our power generation is down here because these are all generating using lava. And we should have, yeah, we've got 58,000 buckets of lava in here. So I think I can probably spare a couple. And then we get to see these things in action. And I want to see as well how much of a boost this gives because the Lexica, I've never actually used these before, but the Lexica Botania says they do produce a pretty significant amount of mana, but then they have a really big cooldown of like 5 minutes. So I want to see if that's true or not. Let's see, we're right about there. And if I do that, these are now all producing power. And, oh yeah, that thing is completely full. That's producing a lot of power, actually. Because you can tell the mana spreader is at max capacity. So maybe what I'll do is I'll spin that guy around. And we'll bind you to this one instead. Well, actually, no. Yeah. And you to that one instead. Actually, just kidding. That one's not in range. Can I bind you to this? Yep, there we go. Generated a bit. That's actually a lot more mana than it looks like. I know the bar didn't fill up very much, but still, that was a fair amount for 45 seconds. Now they're on cooldown, and they can't generate any more mana. Like, I can put lava in here, and it will consume it, but it won't actually generate any mana from it. You can see they're all basically tapped out at this point. There we go. And that generated a little bit. Not as much as I would have liked, but it's something. And that wouldn't be super, super difficult to automate either. So let's see here. What did I need? Coal blocks, because we can still have our thermal lilies going. There we go. Or our endo flames, I should say, not our thermal lilies. Sorry about that, I misspoke. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out how to automate this. And I have some ideas. If we look at refined storage, there is it the constructor? I believe it's the constructor will place things in the world. Let's see if that is correct. In fact, let's just hook it up. Let's go over here real quick. And let's just hook you up right here, just for a minute, so I can look at the UI. Okay, it does work on liquids. Good, 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 good. That's what I was worried about. So, we're gonna make a couple things. First and foremost, we need to make... Where is it? Relay... Fluid interface. It might be the relay, come to think of it. I think it may be the relay. Creative fluid interface. Oh, no. It's the network transmitter. That's what I need. The network transmitter and the network receiver. That's what I need. Okay, let me make those real quick, and then I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I've made the network transmitter and the network receiver. What these do is they basically transfer signal from my network wirelessly, not to my little handheld thingy, but to somewhere else. So if I put this guy here, right, and we grab a network card, which is something else that I just realized I totally forgot to make because I'm an idiot. Network card right there. Need paper. Paper should be easy. I've got tons of sugarcane. Let's just make a bit. There we go. Actually, let's just make a stack of it. I've got the sugarcane. There we go. So let's go and make a couple network cards. All right, so this is the network transmitter. If I put this guy in here, right? No? Oh, wait. No, it should go right here, doesn't it? Maybe I need to hook up the receiver first? That would be strange. Let me see if I can figure out how this... Oh, there we go. No. Okay, so I guess you have to right-click or shift-right-click on the receiver. That's very strange. Although it looks like this thing is not properly getting power, is it? Oh, wow. It's looking like my whole system is actually really low on power. Is that the case? Sorry about that, guys. I was very concerned there for a minute, but we got it sorted out. So anyway, back to this. So what we have here is we have some spots where we can put things, and put things here we shall. Let's grab cobblestone, and we're going to go like that. Okay, then we're going to go back to our wireless crafting grid, and we are going to make 3 more of these constructor guys, what am I missing? Construction cores. Easy enough. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we now have 4 constructors, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Okay, then we're going to come over here. And I want cables coming up and over like so. And these are going to be set to fluids like this. Okay. Now, only work with redstone signal. We'll do that, and then we need to tell this lava. Lava is what we want. Because, as I said before, the thermal lilies are great for generating mana, but they can only generate mana, they can only basically absorb lava once every 5 minutes. Now, we have a ton of lava in our system right here, but in order to make use of it, and make sure that it doesn't get wasted, we need to do this. And basically say, we are going to emit a redstone signal, or a lava, we're going to put lava right here once every 5 minutes. And I think the easiest way to do that, does this timer, that is 20, so that's the delay in ticks. I wonder if there's one that's, I mean, I could use that. That's a little excessive, though. What about the timer from Dark Utilities? Let's take a look at that guy. I want to look at my different timer options here. Essentially what I want to do, or a clock. A clock would be the other option. Like some sort of it might be called a redstone clock. No, it's basically all timer stuff. Okay. So let's try that guy, and then let's also try this guy right here from Project Red. I think I needed one of these as well. And then that's everything? No, I'm still missing those guys. There we go. All right, so this timer, 10 seconds, so it's basically in 10-second intervals. Okay, that's easy. And this timer is in ticks, but it actually says a minute is 1200. Okay, so the maximum is 10 minutes is the maximum delay. So honestly, any of these options would work. If I want a 5-minute delay, that would be 6,000? 6,000 ticks. So why don't we just use this guy, I guess. Why not? Well, we'll use the easy one. Grab... Do I not have my smart wrench? Not in there, I don't. There it is. All right, so we go smart wrench. We set this. Well, I'll set that momentarily. For now. Well, no, let's set it to... You know what we'll do? We'll put this down. We'll do that part last. We'll do the timer last. So let's grab our redstone circuits and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab our wrench right here so that these all connect to our constructors like so. Strong signal. Strong signal, strong signal, strong signal. Then we put our timer down right here and change this to 6,000. So there we go. That is going to emit a redstone signal, a brief redstone pulse, once every 6,000 ticks, which will be basically once every 5 minutes. And I think, ooh, but is it 5 minutes plus 45 seconds? I feel like it's 5 minutes plus 45 seconds. Maybe. Let's go 7,000 just to be safe, and that should be plenty. And that should work for us. Like that should generate a ton of mana and do it in such a way where we can basically just walk away from it and call it a day. Guys, unfortunately though, I am out of time for this episode. It's been a fun one. We've done some cool Botania stuff that I've never done before, so always a good thing. My friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.